Dear friends, welcome to the course on the Kitab-i-Iqan, hosted by the Crimson Academy. The first two paragraphs of the Kitab-i-Iqan we have designated as attaining true understanding. Dear friends, read these paragraphs and reflect on the contents before starting this lesson. These paragraphs can be considered as a summary of the Kitab-i-Iqan. Baha'u'llah highlights the significance of detachment in attaining true understanding, faith, and certitude. He explains the meaning of detachment and how it can be achieved. In these two paragraphs, you need to look for and understand the following key points. 1. The station of true understanding is the ultimate goal of human existence, and this goes beyond the acquisition of material knowledge and conventional learning. 2. Detachment from the words and deeds of mortal men is the prerequisite to attaining true understanding. And 3. Detachment applies to all types of exposure to the physical world, including through our ears, mind, heart, and eyes. In the first paragraph, Baha'u'llah explains that the necessary condition for attaining true understanding is detachment from all that is in heaven and on earth. According to Baha'u'llah, the station of true understanding is the ultimate goal of human existence. The term true understanding is the translation of the Arabic word irfan. This is an understanding that goes beyond the acquisition of material knowledge and conventional learning. In another part of the Kitab-i-Iqan, Baha'u'llah explains how true understanding can be achieved. He explains that there are two types of knowledge, divine and satanic. Divine knowledge welleth out from the fountain of divine inspiration, whereas satanic knowledge is but a reflection of vain and obscure thoughts. It is a divine knowledge that brings about the fruit of patience, of longing desire, of true understanding, whereas satanic knowledge can produce nothing but arrogance, vainglory, and conceit. Hence, true understanding is attained through acquiring divine knowledge. The Baha'i writings shed further light on the nature of divine knowledge and methods of acquiring it. The source of divine knowledge is God, and His manifestations, as through them floweth the river of divine knowledge, and gloweth the fire of His ancient and consummate wisdom. Hence, the first step in attaining true understanding is to identify and recognize the one who is representing God as His manifestation. This is the first duty prescribed by God for His servants. I repeat it. The source of divine knowledge is God and His manifestations, as through them floweth the river of divine knowledge, and gloweth the fire of His ancient and consummate wisdom. Hence, the first step in attaining true understanding is to identify and recognize the one who is representing God as His manifestation. This is the first duty prescribed by God for His servants. The process of acquiring divine knowledge becomes possible when our hearts are wholly attracted to the one true God, which is the same as attraction to His manifestation. This implies submitting our hearts fully to His will and obeying His ordinances. This is the second duty ordained by God for His followers. According to Baha'u'llah, the twin duties of recognition and obedience are inseparable, and one is unacceptable without the other. That is from the Kitab-i-Iqan, paragraph 1, page 19. Baha'u'llah describes recognizing the manifestation of God at the time, which was the Bab, and committed to obey his commandments as entering the tabernacle that is raised by the Bayan, the most holy book of the Bab. Detachment from all that is in heaven and on earth is the prerequisite to attaining true understanding. In the second paragraph, Baha'u'llah explains the meaning of detachment and provides further clarification on how true understanding, faith, and certitude can be achieved. The Kitab-i-Iqan was revealed in response to the questions asked by the uncle of the Bab, Haji Mirza Sayyid Muhammad, on the truth of the message of the Bab. Haji Mirza Sayyid Muhammad was a devout Muslim with a deep certitude in the faith of Muhammad. Although he believed in the coming of the Qayyam, the promised one of Shia Islam, he was not convinced that the Bab had fulfilled the prophecies made in Islamic literature. The opening paragraphs of the Kitab-i-Iqan illustrate the primary reason for this confusion in the mind of Haji Mirza Sayyid Muhammad. He had measured the authenticity of the truth of the divine revelation with the standards defined by the words and deeds of mortal men. The coming of a new manifestation of God, the Bab, required Haji Mirza Sayyid Muhammad to recognize him, to renew his faith and certitude in God, and to acquire a true understanding of the new truth revealed through the revelation of the Bab. Baha'u'llah states that such recognition can be achieved only when the seeker of truth embarks on the path of search, detached from earthly knowledge. Earthly knowledge is either the product of vain imaginations and obscure thoughts, or motivated by material and egotistical attachments, such as desire for power, leadership, and riches. Haji Mirza Sayyid Muhammad was relying on the interpretations of the Muslim clergy of the prophecies given in the Quran on the coming of the Promised One. While the source of the prophecies was divine, the interpretations reflected earthly understanding and knowledge. Hence, they contradicted the truth revealed by the Bab. Expanding on the meaning of detachment, Baha'u'llah emphatically states in the paragraph 2 that the seekers of certitude can never attain unto the knowledge of God until they cease to consider the words and deeds of mortal men as a standard for the true understanding and recognition of God and His prophets. Hence, true understanding and recognition of the manifestations of God can be acquired only through detachment. In paragraph 2, Baha'u'llah further explains that detachment from the words and deeds of mortal men applies to all types of exposure to the physical world, either through ears, mind, heart, or eyes. We explore the nature of such detachment further. Detachment, the ears from idle talk. The term idle talk, the beloved guardian's translation of the Arabic aqwal, is a reference to negative remarks and criticism made by those who deny a manifestation of God and oppose His cause. Baha'u'llah has used this term in many of his other writings, including the following: sanctify your ears from the idle talk of them that are the symbols of denial and the exponents of violence and anger. He is truly wise, who will not allow men's idle talk to cause him to swerve from the way of righteousness. Again, do thou ordain, moreover, for everyone who hath turned towards thee, what will make him steadfast in thy cause, in such wise that neither the vain imaginations of the infidels among thy creatures, nor the idle talk of the froward amidst thy servants will have the power to shut him out from thee. Idle talk has a negative effect on the spiritual health of a believer and shuts him out from God by blinding the heart and poisoning the soul. The term vain imaginings is often used in conjunction with idle fancies. It refers to the empty, trivial, and unsubstantial thoughts and ideas formed on the basis of material and satanic knowledge. Vain imaginings obscure the spiritual heart of the individual and prevent attainment to true understanding. There are numerous references to the term vain imaginings in the writings of Baha'u'llah. We share a few. Hold ye fast unto his statutes and commandments, and be not of those who, following their idle fancies and vain imaginings, have clung to the standards fixed by their own selves, and cast behind their backs the standards laid down by God. That was in the Kitáb-i-Iqán. Forsake your vain imaginings, and turn yourselves unto God, your everlasting Lord. That was also Kitáb-i-Iqán, paragraph 41. These thick clouds are the exponents of idle fancies and vain imaginings, who are none other but the divines of Persia. That was in the Epistle, Son of Wolf, page 15. Idle fancies have debarred men from the horizon of certitude, and vain imaginings withheld them from the choice sealed wine. That is Epistle, Son of the Wolf, page 44. Wretched is that what thou hast imagined in thy heart. Thou art indeed of them that walk after the vain imaginings which their hearts devise. That is from the Gleanings of the Writings of Baha'u'llah, page 219. Fear God, and follow not the vain imaginings of the superstitious. That is Proclamation of Baha'u'llah, page 92. Tear asunder, O my God, the veil of vain imaginings that have obscured the vision of thy people, that all may haste towards thee, may tread the path of thy pleasure, and walk in the ways of thy faith. And that is from Prayers and Meditations of Baha'u'llah, page 102. Man is a complex being, consisting of three independent realities: the physical, the intellectual, and the spiritual. The physical reality reflects our animal nature that is driven by our instincts and carnal desires. Our intellectual reality is manifested through the ability to reason and discover the unknown from the known. This is a distinctive feature of man, differentiating us from the animal. Unless our intellectual reality is harnessed by our higher nature, the spiritual reality of man, it can render us more dangerous than any wild predator. The spiritual reality represents our higher nature, through which we experience mystical feelings and transcend the material world. Expression of such feelings through a devotion to God as the creator of the universe and through the arts has enriched human culture in ways explicitly different from the discoveries and inventions made by science. Developing and practicing virtues such as kindness and generosity are also manifestations of the human spiritual reality. We are constantly under influence of our physical and spiritual realities, and behave and make choices according to the dominant force at the time. Attachment to worldly affections reflects the domination of our nature by the physical reality. This is also an indication that our spiritual reality is not strongly developed. According to Baha'u'llah, worldly affections and desires obscure the radiance of the spiritual energies latent in the reality of man. They also enshroud the heart, and hence deprive man from spiritual perception and thus from recognizing the manifestation of God. Here are some references in the Baha'i writings to worldly affections and desires. O friends, prefer not your will to mine. Never desire that which I have not desired for you, and approach me not with lifeless hearts, defiled with worldly desires and cravings. That was from the Hidden Words, Persian hit, number 19. These energies with which the day star of divine bounty and source of heavenly guidance hath endowed the reality of man lie, however latent within him, even as the flame is hidden within the candle, and the rays of light are potentially present in the lamp. The radiance of these energies may be obscured by worldly desires, even as the light of the sun can be concealed beneath the dust and dross which cover the mirror. That is from the Gleanings from the Writings of Baha'u'llah, pages 65 through 66. But as the Jewish doctors, Christian priests and monks who read those books, verily they know the letter only, and they utter the words as parrots, without understanding their inner meanings. They comprehend them not, because they are engrossed in worldly desires and lusts, and their hearts are attached to mundane allurements. That is from Abdul Baha in Baha'i World Faith, page 391. The term "that which perisheth" in the Baha'i writing symbolically refers to all aspects of the physical world that are subject to death and disintegration, in contrast to the spiritual world that is immortal. The manifestations of God offer humanity that which cannot be seen but is immortal, while man has his eyes on what he can see. However, what he can see perishes. This again represents the battle between our physical and spiritual realities. Spiritual strength enables us to shift our attention beyond the physical world and to perceive a world that is lasting and infinite. Here are some of the references in the writings of Baha'u'llah to the term "that which perisheth." O Son of the Supreme, to the Eternal I call thee, yet thou dost seek that which perisheth. What hath made thee turn away from our desire and seek thine own? It's from the Hidden Words. It's Arabic, number 23. Better is this for you than that which ye possess, for that which is yours perisheth, whilst that which is with God endureth. That's from the Epistle of the Son of the Wolf, page 46. Abandon not the incorruptible benefits, and be not content with that which perisheth. And that is from the Gleanings from the Writings of Baha'u'llah, page 320. Night hath succeeded day, and day hath succeeded night, and the hours and moments of your lives have come and gone, and yet none of you hath, for one instant, consented to detach himself from that which perisheth. And friends, that's from the Gleanings from the Writings of Baha'u'llah, page 321. Very good.